Hello everyone, welcome back to Workshop. Today we're going to talk about
the dirty word.
So, I put her up having to say that. What dirty word are we talking about? There are so many. There are so many dirty words out there.
Just one.
This one in particular I think is the absolute most detestable word out there, or at least it's projected as it is. And that word is profit. Oh, you'd sent chills up your spine just right then and there that somebody is making a profit on you. Oh, dirty. That's bad. Okay, we'll get off that trip now. But it's quite honestly, in polite conversation, it is treated as a very, very despicable word, and you are a despicable human being for making money on something that should be free to everyone. It should be free. But it's not. The air that you breathe isn't free because it costs your lungs something. It's not free. And it profits you everything to still breathe. It's called you're alive. So in its simplest form, it is a very disgusting language to use about talking about profit for a lot of folks. And so today we just want to kind of share our opinion, our viewpoint on that.
Yeah, maybe dispel some myths.
Yeah, dispel some myths about making profit. So it's something we have to
start with.
Yeah, it's something we have to deal with. So I particularly find myself as a nice fellow. I do my best to be as involved in the blacksmithing community as I can. I try to come along guys for no other purpose other than just to help them out. I have mentored several young guys, some guys older than me in my shop. I mean, I've taken them under my wing and kind of got them started. I've given away tools. I've, and this isn't just me trying to puff my own tail feathers up. I'm just giving you a bit of a backdrop that I'm not this sneaky snake oil salesman on the back just sharpening my things to suck into you. I'm working an angle constantly on you. And so much of the word profit revolves around that. That becomes your ideology, that becomes your mentality, is that to make a profit, all of a sudden you look at the devil advocate guy with his hair all slicked back and the business suit and the big gold ring, and he's just waiting to pounce on your finances and possessions. And that's really that's a cartoonish version of that in your head, and you really shouldn't think that at all when somebody needs to make a profit on something.
Businesses wouldn't exist if they didn't make profit. I mean, just think about, there's all sorts of businesses, the fast food industry, heating and air conditioning, insurance companies, all of those. If they weren't making a profit, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Exactly. And you could think of it in the same way of this, and this is where I always pose this to people. Think about your day job. You get paid for a service that you provide the company. Maybe you're worth that amount. Maybe you're not worth that amount. That might be the case. But the boss pays you anyhow. And he has to, in turn, take your wonderful savings because you had to get paid for doing a cruddy job or a great job. And he has to put those cost savings on the customer that you're creating products for. He's playing the middleman. And too often times we're like, he got to go on a trip to Honolulu. I'm stuck here. I can't get a trip off of my vacation time or this or that. And you think he's a scummy guy, right? He's making all this profit, and once again, that snake oil salesman thing starts playing that track in your mind about that. But ultimately, he had to deal with customers that you ticked off. He had to deal with people. This happened all the time in heating and air conditioning, by the way. He was on the line if you screwed something up, or if there was water damage to somebody's home. His company took the hit. You didn't take the hit. He took the hit. He became your personal bouncer, your buffer, to protect you from being sued, for something that didn't happen, right? And he took the blame, or he or she, it might have been she, and she's a real nice lady, like, and she took that hit with all those profits, that greasy, mean word, But McDonald's doesn't give out free hamburgers. Burger King, any of the other little restaurants. Your restaurant chain in your country does not give out free food because they wouldn't be able to pay their employees, and then their employees in turn wouldn't be able to take and pay their rent, and then the so on and so forth. I mean, this is simple economics. So when you look at a subject like it's recently come up, we did a Patreon video, and the very interesting thing was we have no interest at all in doing Patreon right now, as we do not feel that we can step away from our flourishing business to do full-time videos for people.
Right. Right now, this is just kind of
this is our secondary business. This is a second, and we treat it as a business. Yes, we do. And that's why we are constantly putting things out there for you guys. And does that mean we're working angles on you? Yeah, it probably does. We're working an angle on you right now. We're hoping that you'll watch another one of our business videos. Because if you watch another one of our business videos, it gives us better watch time, which helps us in search algorithms, which gets us going on.
Yeah, it helps draw more people to the channel.
But what are we doing right now? Yes, we're making a profit on you as you sit and watch this video. We're making a profit. Our lives are gaining value from you, however be it how small, per every one of you that watch. We're gaining value, but what are we doing right now? We are taking time that we won't ever get back on our lives, on our time clocks.
Right.
When we punch out, we won't get this time back. And we're sitting in front of a camera in my shop, taking away from my customers that have already paid me for my time, to offer value to you. To try to take and build into your lives and sow into your lives something of value, something that gives you a different thought process maybe, or it gives you a different way of looking at something so you can be successful. Or the Business of Blacksmithing series, we're doing that whole series as purely your benefit. I mean, we're sharing stuff that, is like taboo. It's like, ooh, you might want to keep that a secret. That's your breadwinner, then you're going to have a bunch of competing businesses, and we're sharing this information freely with you, and free, that's a whole other topic and a rant for another thing, but, it's a profit. We're making a profit for that. And I'm not ashamed to say it, because I'm providing you value. So even other channels that do, like YouTube, full-time for a living, and that's their thing because it's their heart and they love producing videos. They found their niche in life. For them to offer you a product or offer you a service or offer you the chance to support them via Patreon or whatever way that they're doing it, and they are really doing their hard-earned efforts of trying to provide value to you so you can sit there and watch from your lazy boy or wherever you're at, maybe you watch or listen to these things or podcasts, or who knows, if people do podcasts and people listen to them on the radio and they tune in every day and drink their cup of coffee where McDonald's made profit on them or Starbucks made a profit on them on their coffee, and sit there, and the second that guy says, hey, would you mind supporting me on, oh, you're scummy. You lost the heart of it. You're horrible. Because he asked for some value back from you. So think about that. When you go around to other channels, we haven't personally received that much hate towards us and anything we've done or tried to offer. Mainly on my Power Hammer videos, I get hate for those because it's like, ooh, I paid a guy a lot of money to draw me up plans so this way I could take and offer those to the blacksmithing community. and that's not a free venture for me, but somehow that needs to be free for everyone on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I take some flack for that. I don't really care, to be honest with you all. I don't really care. It's not going to hurt my feelings if I stop doing YouTube tomorrow. It really wouldn't hurt my feelings. It's a lot of investment that we're putting into it. But, you know, God's going to continue to bless my business on the back end, and that's where we make our income, and we provide a lot of value to our customers. And we treat each and every one of you as like a friend, you know? It's as a friend. So, you know, every time you guys watch like one of those stupid ads, I don't even know what the ads play. They pick them at random. You know, they do. They pick them at random. And we can get into a whole other subject, how those work, if you guys have any interest on how running a YouTube business works. Put it in the description down below if you want us to do a video on that. You know, we'd be glad to share how that works. But, you know, every time you watch one of those ads, we get like 1/10 of 1 cent per person. That's about what it works out to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you take a penny and cut it up in 10 little pieces, and you deposited one little fleck of money into our piggy bank.
Right.
That's
so
pretty much it. So
it takes a lot of people doing that, but I mean, yes, it adds up to something. So we do appreciate that when you take the time to watch the ads on our channel.
Yeah, and when you do that, it does help us, you know. But on that same point, so you could say, well, you're making profit. I know.
The dirty word.
The dirty word. We're horrible people for doing it. I understand. It costs so much, but think of the value that we are providing back. Think of the other YouTube channels that you're watching that are providing value to you, that are teaching you, that are instructing you. Don't be harsh on them if they want it. If they need to get paid for their time, I mean, you need to get paid for your time. And ultimately what it comes down to, you spend money on things you care about. Things you don't care about, you don't watch, you don't spend money on, you don't spend any time at.
Right.
You know, you put your money where your mouth is most of the time.
Yep.
Whatever you care most about is where you'll invest the most of your time, financial resources, and things like that. For some people, that's called a cable bill, or Netflix, or watching Game of Thrones. They're making money on you. They're making money on you. Your subscription to Hulu, or, you know, around in the U.S., it's Time Warner Cable, you know, your subscription to those services, they're making a profit on you, but they're also providing you channels with value and things like that. So, anyways, just a little different way to think about it. This applies to so much more than just YouTube or just anything like that.
Yeah, I have a couple of brief points just around the topic of profit when running your own business. You know, there's been people before who told us that our stuff is too expensive, and what it really boils down to is, you know, it is too expensive for some people, or it's not what they value. Like you say, you put your money where your mouth is. So it's not something that they value where our price point is. But there is other people that do hold it in value, and they hold it in esteem, and they're willing to pay us. So your prices don't have to make everybody happy, because if they did, you would probably be too busy to even get all your work done.
Yeah, as we talked about in other videos as well. So
and then my one other point I want to make is, you know, about making a profit is, you know, all the money you make in excess of your supplies and materials is not purely profit for your own personal gain. You need to be investing that into your business, like we've talked about in the Rule of 33. We have a video on that also. So, you know, you've got to invest back into your business to keep growing it.
Yeah, exactly. And the last point I'll put about, you know, the dirty word, the profit word here. So say you are a hobbyist, purely and solely simple, you're a hobbyist, okay? And you don't really have any professional aspirations at all for the business side of blacksmithing and you're watching this series, but you don't really have any interest in selling your work, I believe that you should sell something. And the reason why is blacksmithing is a very expensive hobby. It's like I'm going to be a goldsmith one day as a hobby. It's very expensive. Mm-hmm. And you're either paying that all yourself out of pocket, out of your retirement, out of, your lunch money if you're a young guy, you know what I mean, or something, or birthday gifts or whatever. And you're going to come to a point where your want to do something in blacksmithing is going to exceed what you can personally afford to do. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you have to make a profit on something you create. Mm-hmm. However, be it small, it may never turn into something where it's a 9-to-5 job. You wake up every day, you do a certain amount of customer orders, this, that, what have you. You get paid a certain amount for your week, and you go through the whole process of starting a business. But if you are just getting started, and say you've got Christmas stuff, and people want to give you money to take and help you out doing something that you love to do on the side, why not accept the help? I mean,
and really, you're earning it. You're providing them value.
Yeah, you're providing them value. There's nothing wrong about making profit. There's everything wrong with taking somebody's money and not providing value. That's it. That's theft. You rob them of good, hard, honest days worth of work on something. But if you're already providing that up front, there is nothing wrong with you getting something in return for that. If not, we would all be slaves. I mean, that would be it. I mean, we would be slaves, wouldn't we? That's essentially the definition, not getting anything in return. You're owned by somebody. They just say, do this, go there, and you do that, and you go there, and you don't get anything in value, and then they just say, well, figure it out on your own. So, if you're, we had a young guy a while ago, and I don't know if we ever responded to his question or not. I think it was one of those, it was one of those times that, we were real busy, we were out and about, we had getting ready for our trip and things like that. But he had said something to the effect, I believe that, he doesn't know what he doesn't know where he wants to go with it. He doesn't really want to make money at blacksmithing, but he has people who want to give him money for certain items, but he doesn't want to do it as a business because he thinks that would kill the fun of blacksmithing. And so my response to that is exactly like what I just said. You're going to reach a point where you're going to want an anvil, a proper anvil. You're going to want to stop from the sledgehammer in the dirt, and you're going to want to upgrade. Mm-hmm. And maybe your parents aren't funding that anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe your grandpa, maybe whatever money you were using to support your, what I call my addiction, whatever money you were doing to support your addiction is no longer there and it's no longer offered to you. And then at that point, you're going to have a choice to make. You either stop doing what you enjoy doing, or your income is going to have to somehow increase at whatever you are doing to make room that you can spend on that hobby. Or the third option, you're going to have to start charging something to just at least bring in enough to cover your cost of your coal. Maybe you don't want to get paid for your time. That's perfectly okay. You don't have to. That gives you a lot of freedom. That means you get to it whenever you get to it. There's no deadlines if you're not getting paid, for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you are getting paid, you have to provide that value. So yeah, it is a two-edged sword. So you have to choose wisely. But the word profit is not a dirty word. The word profit is just a way of humans to communicate that they have received value in return for something that they've already offered. So that's it for me. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I believe we pretty well covered.
Yeah, I think we pretty well covered it. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you think of the word profit. And this ought to be an interesting description, comment section down below. This will probably be one of those hot button things that a lot of people see differently, and that's perfectly okay. Just put us your thoughts down in the comment section. We love reading them, and it might give us some more reply video type stuff, and and we greatly appreciate that, and we really appreciate the engagement. And it's like a big YouTube family out there. We really enjoy talking with you guys out there, and just thank you all so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.